So, we are about to land on a planet. The Martian mining colony has traveled across billions of hectares of space, and they're about to land on a new planet which they will name Torvis, the planet on which I was born. So, here we are in the control station, and Paul has asked Dr. Torvitska to come to the control station. Dr. Anastasia Torvitska stepped into the control. Paul knew she was there even before he looked her way to acknowledge her. They had tried to keep their love affair quiet, but in a city as tightly knit as this one, it was an impossibility. Paul admired her stately Russian beauty, was transfixed by her soft Slavic accent, and was amazed by her unlimited capacity for genius. She was just highly intelligent, and she was adventurous with her creative thought processes. She was more willing to work outside the generally accepted laws of science and physics than she was to stay within the staid, secure fortress of their stuffy walls. She believed that physical laws were simply barriers to gaining knowledge unknown. Anastasia had become an astronomer to study the stars, but became infatuated with the movement of particles as translated by the movement of bodies through the universe. It fascinated her to the degree that she began to study the microcosmic universes in the atom, then the electron, applying her knowledge of planetary and galactic motion to her work. Next page. Her work within her new micro-universe. In her world, electrons were the size of Jupiter, and her Torvian particles were grains of sand, reaching out in long strands to other bodies within their reach, each grain being its own subatomic microcosmic universe. The Torvian particle was the cause of all physical interaction based on the quantum mechanical physics of particle rotation, counter-rotation. The application of this theory explained all motion, gravity, inertia, frequency, light, radiation, energy waves, heat, cold, and all energy transference in the physical universe. She had proven her theory time and time again, but had been laughed out of the elite community of Earth. Bigots who called themselves scientists. Like I said. Consequently, she had ended up on Mars just as the revolution was born. She was delighted to be with fellow radical thinkers and would not have missed the trip for anything in any universe. Best of all, it was the application of her theories, built into equipment designed by her team of technoids under her direction, that had made possible the launch of this flying asteroid city after it had been laser fused within the solid silica rock of Mars. Its very design was the reason they had slipped past the military contingent chasing them. Hi, Paul, what's up? Her soft-voiced Russian accent caused the unusual shiver to run down his spine, as I'm sure we have all experienced. Hi, Dr. Torvitska. Please step over here to this viewer. As you can see here, we will have to pass between those two suns to get to the planet beyond. Can you set up the shell to react with a gravitational pull to let us slip through without being spit out like a watermelon seed through your fingers? Anna laughed. Of course I can. I've been preparing for this my whole life. I know just how to set it up. I already have the program running in the city's computers. I'll have to run the sequencing through the shell controls, but that's why we set it up that way, isn't it? And Paul, why do you call me Dr. Torvitska? Everyone knows we're lovers. Hell, they can hear me screaming 3 apartments away. Paul flushed to his neck, which was exactly the reaction she was looking for. Oh, honey, you're so sweet, she said. You just keep calling me whatever you like. Just remember to call me. Sassy woman. My mother. Anna left the control station with Emily scowling at her back. All right, people, the fun's over. Ted, you work with Dr. Trubisky to route guidance controls to her station. She'll be using her frequency generator to light up the shell. By the way, what will we be using to power it up? Ted shrugged. I'll check with the doc. He punched up Conlink to Anna's station. Hey, Doc, boss wants to know what we'll use to power up the freak generators. Anna's voice came back on Paul's comlink. Hi, sweetie. We'll be using the full complement of solar panels. They're charging already, but the closer we get to those two suns, the more we can route to the shell. I'll have this ship vibrating like a sex toy by the time we get to the planet's gravity field. And then she giggled, of course. A side effect of Anna's phenomenal intelligence was her abnormally high sex drive. Paul had learned to live with it. He nodded to Ted, who took the cue. Okay, Doc, boss says you got the stick. She's all yours till we hit ground zero. Ted, as an ex-Navy combat pilot, like I said, who still liked to use the old school lingo when speaking of flight, as if he was actually riding on a pair of wings through the air, which, of course, as you're traveling through space, there is no air. Even though Emily looked at Anna as feminine competition, she was completely professional when it came to the job and the safety of the city. A comlink popped as Anna came on. Emily, we will need to shut down the gravity field as soon as possible so that it will not interfere with our frequency field settings for the shell. Thanks. Anna was fully in command, but her voice was always quite professional without the least hint of arrogance. Emily admired her despite her personal feelings as a woman. Will do, Doc. Beginning shutdown sequence now. This will take about an hour, just so you know. We have to give everybody a chance to grab a seat. I'll let you know when we're ready. Emily punched the gravity field alarm to begin the sequence. They had to keep a gravity field inside the city, otherwise everybody'd be floating around. Seven hours later, the asteroid ship, affectionately called the Crystal City, was headed on a direct course to the apex between the two suns, then beyond to the planet they had identified as their new Eden. The solar panels were humming nicely, increasing output steadily in direct relationship to the proximity of the suns. Anna was a bit surprised at the level of power from the array considering the distance to the suns, but her mind was occupied by more immediate concerns, so she filed it away in her memory for study another day. Her calculations in quantum theory were more instinct than formulas, so she was literally flying by the seat of her pants. It was where she did her best work, there on the edge of the abyss, walking the tightrope between phenomenal success and abysmal failure.